Hey, welcome to the
Hey,
Fantasy Forecast with Greinberg and Biggs. He is Greinberg. I am Biggs. It's the Tuesday Waiver Wire Show coming at you, recorded on tape, not live like we did last week, which was super fun. And hopefully we get to do that again.
sure.
We are talking post week 7. We're getting in ready for week 8, and we've got waiver wire hookups for you guys.
Yeah, it was a disappointing week for some. We saw Jaden Daniels not finish a game, but we got some good news today that he is supposedly okay. So, those people that were anxious to put Mariota in their lineups, you're going to have to hold off now because Jaden Daniels looks like he's going to play. Biggs, you want to get us started here with some waiver wire action? Who you got as your first?
Not before I lament the fact that my two most important leagues, I had started Jaden Daniels. And so all last week I said, we hope you win unless your name is Jax Falcone or Sean Murphy. And I lost to Jax Falcone and Sean Murphy
I'm sorry, man.
because Jaden Daniels got 6 points before he went out of the game.
Yeah.
So important. So important. And I just kept waiting for him to get back in. And, maybe I should have started Baker Mayfield, except I don't have him on those teams. Anyway, all of the people that asked in the starts and sits shows about Baker Mayfield, we said, or at least I said, start Baker. I feel pretty good about at this point. All right, we'll talk about quarterbacks on the waiver wire in the waiver wire section. I'm gonna go with Russell Wilson.
Yeah, man. Good call.
All of you folks that had Justin Fields, sorry about it. But tried to tell you at the beginning of the season, Russell Wilson is the guy to own in that quarterback room. It just took until week 7 for all that to come to fruition. He unlocked George Pickens. We've been waiting for this relationship to blossom like Romeo and Juliet, and it finally did. Now, George Pickens is still among the league leaders in reception yardage called back for penalties and whatnot. But he and Russell Wilson showed that they absolutely suit each other. The way that Russell Wilson plays out of the pocket, the way that George Pickens is just a contested catch dog, they're perfect for each other, and it's only going to get even stronger as the season progresses. So Russell Wilson, go out and grab him. He's 95% available in Yahoo leagues, and I'm sure some of you are disappointed by Brock Purdy, and some of you are like reeling from some injuries, and some of you counted on some other quarterbacks, maybe have Jaden Daniels or whatever. Russell Wilson is your guy. Go get him.
Yeah, that's a good call. I mean, he looked great in the second half of that game. He increased his completion percentage, and obviously with that connection with George Pickens, it looks like things are looking up there for George Pickens especially. I really like to see that happen.
We've been waiting for it
Yeah.
for so long.
Yeah, we both had him as a top 12 wide receiver this year, so hopefully he gets in there now with some consistent production here from someone that can get him the ball downfield, right? My waiver wire pickup at that position at quarterback is going to be Jameson Winston, and I told you 2 weeks ago to pick him up. I wasn't bearing off that injury to Deshaun Watson, but he went down with an Achilles injury, and the Browns are left scrambling, and they have a capable quarterback. They did put in Dorian Thompson-Robinson, but he struggled in relief and potentially injured himself. So Winston has the chance to shine, and it's upon us. If you overlooked him in week 6, when I suggested adding him, now is your time to reconsider adding him to your roster. Winston has a track record of being a high volume passer with a career best 5,100 yards in 2019, despite his infamous interception problems. His experience and ability to throw the ball deep make him a valuable asset for any team. He's looked like he's going to have that opportunity here. Yes, his supporting cast isn't as prolific as it was when he was with the Bucs, but Nick Chubb coming back, looking okay. He's going to get his workload ramping up right away. And then Cedric Tillman looked okay as well. So, he's got a couple weapons around him. So I'm looking at him to have a couple splash games here. And it looks like you're splashing the back of your throat with your fancy new mug there, Biggs. Looks good, buddy.
Refreshing. Don't use those words ever again.
Which one?
The ones that you just said that sounded very, very highly inappropriate. Yeah, Dorian Thompson Robinson. I don't know if he's gonna get it. Jameis Winston, go ahead and grab him, stash him. Whatever. I'm not so big on the Browns' offense at this point, especially seeing how they looked. I don't know about Jerry Jeudy being like the go-to guy. Elijah Moore looks like Cedric Tillman should have garnered some interest in our waivers segment for wide receivers, which is coming up next. But yeah, go grab yourself some Jameson Winston whiskey and cigarettes.
And you know what? I mean, David Njoku looked really, really good in that second half of the game. So I think if he could stay healthy too, he has an element there that they're not as anemic now. I think he's going to produce better than Deshaun Watson, and he's going to give that team a good spark. So we never know. He could have a spark game here, and it's a guy that wasn't on the waiver wire, and now he is. So let's talk about
Njoku looked great on my bench. But I had Brock Bowers in, so that's not the reason I lost. I lost because of Jaden Daniels. All right, let's move on to the waiver wire section for wide receivers, which is what you were going to say, but I finished. Isn't it cute how we finish each other's sentences? All right, so my I'm going to cheat. I'm cheating. My first one, because I'm doing 3. My first one is Khalil Shakir. He's 50% owned on Yahoo, and we've told you to start him. We've told you to have him on your team. This last week, Amari Cooper joined the Bills, and Khalil Shakir wound up with his second best week, the most targets that he's had so far, and the most receptions. He didn't have that touchdown to get him in, but because Amari Cooper got it. But if you think about a lot of the times on this show, I've talked about how other pieces come in and they open up offenses, whether it's a quarterback who can throw the ball deep downfield and that allows more room for the running backs to work, or another wide receiver coming over, allowing the Jets to unlock Garrett Wilson, or the Bills to unlock Khalil Shakir, which is something that I talked about last week. Those things happen. They're for real, y'all. And so go out and get Khalil Shakir. But I'm going to cheat, and I'm going to take 2 more, and those are rookie wide receivers of the San Francisco 49ers, Ricky Pearsall and Jacob Cowing. Now, we just got news today that Brandon Ayuk's injury, we just got news yesterday that Brandon Ayuk's injury from 2 days ago has him out for the year. It's a torn ACL. He's going to have surgery. He's done. Also, it was reported yesterday that Deebo Samuel has been in the hospital with pneumonia. His lungs are filled with fluid. There's a chance that, he might not recover as early as Sunday. Juwan Jennings has been out, which means that the 49ers are scrambling to find people who can put their hands on Brock Purdy's footballs. Put their hands on Brock Purdy's footballs when he throws them to them. And Ricky Pearsall has had the hype because of the draft capital and also the fact that he got literally shot. But also Jacob Cowing. He has a really, really good profile coming out of college. He's a really good slot receiver. They can wind up using Pearsall on the outside and Cowing in the slot. And they got to have somebody, because we saw what happened to Brock Purdy last week. He looked awful. George Kittle isn't the only guy on that team that deserves the targets. And so Cowing and Pearsall, go get them.
Yeah, I like the Cowing much more than Pearsall. I know that Pearsall has better draft capital, but I was always a fan of Cowing heading in, kind of like your little Tank Dell clone. And I think he runs better routes.
He absolutely does. He's much cleaner and crisper in his route running ability. You can see they have videos of them running drills together, and there's just efficiency of movement with what Cowing does. And Pearsall is a little bit more flaily and all over the place. The thing is, though, that draft capital is going to mean a ton right now, and Pearsall will be more of a target. He'll be more of a look in that offense than Cowing will. But if Cowing's running good routes and getting himself open and becomes that second or third look for Brock Purdy, we know that Brock Purdy is efficient. So if he's targeting Jacob Cowing, Jacob Cowing is going to get the ball. And he's going to do a lot with it, because part of his profile was what he was able to do with yards after the catch and forcing missed tackles. So, I like his profile better than I like Pearsall, but Pearsall is going to probably wind up leading in looks at first.
For sure. Don't discount that really nice catch Cowing made on the sideline there on that underthrown ball by Purdy. Came back.
I
looked really
I
good.
didn't watch anything yesterday. I turned everything off real quick.
Yeah, as soon as Jaden went down. Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
All right, I'm gonna cheat tier 2. I'm gonna give a 2-for-1 special
You can't
here.
do that. That's my thing.
I'm doing it. Okay, I'm gonna start with Troy Franklin, and he quickly established himself as a strong waiver wire pickup, especially after leading the Denver Broncos in targets and receptions last week in the recent win over the Saints. In just 2 games since Josh Reynolds went on injured reserve, he has racked up 7 catches for 81 yards and a touchdown. Franklin has an impressive 3.32 yards per route run and a first down run rate of 1.89, showcasing his ability to create separation and convert key plays. He's got a favorable matchup coming up against the Panthers, and it's on the horizon. Franklin's role in the Broncos offense is set to expand. He's established chemistry with his former quarterback, the Oregon Ducks, Bo Nix, forging during their time at Oregon, so further enhances his potential for big plays. As the Broncos seek for more offensive depth and playmaking ability, adding Franklin now could yield significant dividends in the future. May not be this week, but he's establishing his role. Cortland Sutton didn't garner many targets last week, so look for Franklin to continue to emerge. And by the end of the season, I could see him being the number 1 option there in an offense that is starting to develop a little bit here. Now, my second guy, Biggs mentioned earlier, is Cedric Tillman, and he's a good dart throw because he could potentially become the number 1 wide receiver for the remainder of the season for the Cleveland Browns after Amari Cooper was traded away, and he looked like a target hog. He had 12 targets, caught 8 of them for 81 yards, even though the Bengals lost. Still a guy, when a guy gets 12 targets in a game, is somebody that you have to keep your eye on, and somebody that may be a guy that you could play in your lineups down the line.
Yep. Here's the thing. When you have a shakeup like that, like what happened in Cleveland, what happened in Las Vegas, the thing to do is to kind of you got to hedge your bets. You got to go grab everybody. So if Jerry Jeudy was out there, we need to see what Jerry Jeudy's all about. Elijah Moore, we need to see what he's about. Jamari Thrash, Cedric Tillman. Thank you for agreeing with me, Murdoch. I appreciate you. Same with the Raiders. You got DJ Turner out there, Trey Tucker. Christian Wilkerson is somebody that had some targets the week before but didn't have any this week. But those offenses are in flux, and you kind of have to grab everybody that you can just in case somebody becomes the guy, and then then drop the other ones. So definitely Cedric Tillman and Troy Franklin are in that category. So I'm not addressing Mike right now. I'm talking to you, viewer out there in fantasy land. And I'm also not specifically talking to the people who are watching this on Fantasy Sports Advice Network. I'm talking to you. Are you watching this on YouTube from the Fantasy Football Advice Network? Because I've got news for you. First of all, go ahead and scan this QR code. What that's going to do is it's going to take you to my .cards page, and that will give you a link to Fantasy Sports Advice Network, where you can find videos like this.
We are here. FantasySportsAdvice.com, offering the best fantasy sports social media platform. Why join endless Discord communities or the trolls of Reddit? Fantasy Sports Advice is a community designed to help you win with 24/7 support. Go to FantasySportsAdvice.com and become a pro member for unlimited access. Again, go to FantasySportsAdvice.com today.
I was talking.
You said you said like an ad like this.
I was saying that you can go to the Fantasy Sports Advice Network, you can sign up for a membership, and there's a link on this page that can get you there. You will also find links to all of the other platforms that Mike and I are on, including Player Profiler and Player Profiler News, Fantasy Football Plus, and the Undroppables. You can link directly to them through this QR code. But most importantly, you can sign up for Fantasy Sports Advice Network and find videos from all of the best content creators. Go ahead and run that video, Mike, is what I was going to say.
I thought you said, then there's the video, and then I pressed it. My bad. We're in shambles without Schultze around.
We need a producer.
We need a producer. Schultze.
All right, let's do our running backs. You go first.
Let's go. Sure. Not much out there in running back land right now. A lot of them have been gobbled up, but somebody did emerge as a compelling waiver wire pickup, and that for me is Jermichael Hasty. In his recent game with the Jags, he had the skills of catching 5 of his targets for 49 yards, and he scooched in for a touchdown. His rushing attempts resulted in negative yardage, though, so his ability to contribute in the passing game resulted in him being a guy that I got my eye around in that backfield. We know that Ramondre Stevenson is the primary running back, but he's banged up a bit here. And Antonio Gibson was supposed to see some of that share, but it looks like it's Hasty. And Hasty's a guy that if he's on the waiver wire, could bring some upside if Drake May continues to lean on him in the passing game in these game scripts that might need that to happen. And, the Patriots, they played a team where they were supposed to, have some competition against in an easier matchup. And he got some play there. So I'm looking at Hasty to have some upside at times later in games when the Patriots are playing from behind, and especially if they can carve out on top of Antonio Gibson. But there wasn't much out there this week, Biggs, in the running back area. Who do you got for us?
Well, I'm just gonna say right now, fine, you got me. Fine, I'll do it. Okay, fine. Pick up Alexander Madison. He's available on 57% of leagues, and he's available in 57% of leagues. The Raiders are just a trash can fire right now. Aiden O'Connell broke his thumb. Gardner Minshew is going to be back. They're not going to be able to run the ball much. I wouldn't advise owning any running back on the Raiders at this point, but I'm never wrong, just either early or late, and so I'll go ahead and capitulate and be late on Alexander Madison. Should you have had him on your roster this last weekend? Maybe. Should you have started him? Maybe. Should you have him now? Probably not. Because as soon as I say, go ahead and go pick up Alexander Madison because he's starting to cook, the Raiders are going to switch to Zamir White. And so then that makes this video irrelevant. But go ahead and pick up Alexander Madison if he's available in your league because marvelous pigs in satin. Shout out James and the Giant Peach. Marvelous things will happen. Just why not?
Yeah, why not? Because it's we're in the bottom of the barrel right now. Every team is kind of filtered through a lot of their running backs already, and it's a really tough situation.
And if you need a better reason, then why not? Maybe this isn't the show for you. So go get your pro membership at Fantasy Sports Advice Network and find a show.
But remember to like our show and subscribe and follow us. And what else we got to say? We hope you win.
We could do that.
All right, let's do it. Hope you win.
On 3.
Okay. 2.
Go Jags.
Yeah. Go Jets.
Raiders are going to win this week.
We hope you win.